Hello and welcome to this next session of Dune Adventures in the Imperium. This is Modiphius's 2D20 game based on the wide Dune universe. We've been playing for a bit with our House Anthir. And I'll set up in a second where we're at, and we'll get our characters to introduce themselves. But before we get too much further, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I'm the game facilitator for this. And this session itself is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming club / community that does a lot of games. We have around 100, 120 games a month on our calendar, and that we have a Patreon that supports that. It also supports our publishing arm, which has our magazine Codex. We also have a whole bunch of podcasts and a blog. That's who we are. We have one player who is running late, who'll probably be joining us after the break. I just looked over to my left and saw a little note from them. So that's where we are going to go ahead and get started, though. So let's talk and see our characters again. Know who they are, and then we'll talk about where everybody is at. So let's start with Seraphina.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him. My character I'm playing is Seraphina Veer, she, her, who is a Marduk school-trained empath, and someone who has the facial tattoo of that school indicating her dedication to truth. She is the vice marshal of House Anthir, sent out to try and establish a framework of law in the city of Saknation after the Imperium left a vacuum of the same when they pulled out, and after the previous house left a legacy of a system that didn't work very well. She believes she's a true believer, as it were. She believes that lies poison the soul. She recognizes the need for concealment and falsehood and such like that, but it does not fit with her personal style. She has never known to tell a falsehood.
And that will bring us to our character who maybe trades a little bit in some falsehoods. Let's hear about Hayden.
I'm playing Hayden Byrne. My name is Harry, he, him, and Hayden's he, him as well. Yeah, he's an intelligence operative in the Spy Master's pay. Last session, which he finally came face to face with his father, who turned out to be the head of Clan Haida. And in the aerial assault, thanks to some lovely complications from the die roller, got to face down with him and came out on top thanks to Ismina's help. But he's just going to be probably recovering from the shock of that for this next session. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll talk with your emotional, mental fallout. We'll certainly have a talk with your mentor at some point today. Which brings us to Stahl.
Stahl, he, him pronouns. He is the advisor of the house in terms of pollinating the message, the faith, the philosophy of House Anthir out into the world. He's a talker, not a fighter, and he should be famous because he has a religulab.
And you've described that religulab as kind of a disc with a display, a holographic display to it of some kind.
Yeah, I'm sort of picturing like Blade Runner 2049, where she's got the thing that she's working to try to construct the memory, but it's just a projection.
Mm-hmm.
Similar like that. He's like, it doesn't look like a Nikon, but it's similar in that it has like rotating discs and whatnot, and you can slot in different ideological concepts symbolically, or like the symbols of those things onto it, and then project them onto his surroundings.
And you did start when you were in Technagon, pulling out some of the thought key elements and memes and things that were present in the planetary population. So you have the bits and pieces there.
I met a scary lady too.
That you did. You met our Bene Gesserit. So we're taking up in the aftermath of the decisive move by your group. After investigations, after looking at the situation, you had started to impose some order in the city by working at the lower level, by making some allies there, and had started to get an understanding of what the forces were at work, both sort of in the underworld and also in the mental landscape, the theological landscape that was in operation there. And that led you to, I would say, two big maneuvers. Number one, co-opting one of the three criminal families, criminal clans present in the city, one most closely tied to the smugglers, and making a deal with them, with House Desparto, and making them a promise, making a commitment that you work to make them a house, raise them up as a subject house underneath House Anthier, essentially a vassal family. So that's one big thing that was done. You then took that, as well as the other work and information that you had put into play, to realize that House Haida, rather sort of the clan Haida, is the one that clearly had hold of the most strategic locations within the city that needed to be taken. And you worked to undermine Haida, create distractions, and finally bringing into play Desparto and some other resources and striking at their HQ, and essentially cutting off the head of the beast there, disrupting Clan Haida, and moving out, while at the same time not making it look like you guys, like you all brought jackbooted thugs down on them. You were careful to spend some time doctoring appearances, such that the populace would have more respect than necessarily fear of you. Does that seem like an adequate summation of things?
Yes, try to make it, and to make it look like this is a legitimate police act, rather than simply a naked exercise of power. And the
which it is an entirely an open question, but definitely reinforcing the idea of the rule of law, I think, is what you had said last time, Serafina.
yes.
So we take up with the group traveling back to the capital of Birindar, the largest city, the city that lies at close to the equator. The bands of areas of the planet that are least affected by these gravatic turmoils. And I think one of the things that all of you will realize as you are flying with this ornithopter back southwards is it doesn't take long before, like, something that has been bugging you in the back of your mind, some sound or feeling or vibration like that finally lifts. Like you haven't been consciously aware of that feeling of being near those things while you were there. But now that you're away, something has changed. Your body the weight of it feels different. Something about that. I mean, you saw how it affected animal and plant life and birds and such here. It's clear that it was also getting to you. But we will see that as the ornithopter comes in with its buzzing wings, we can see down below the Capitol, there are places where teams of workers have been doing big scale restorations of different areas. And we can still see that there's a lot of sections of this sort of industrial city that are damaged, but we can also see evidence of areas that have been cleaned, that have been cleared, that have been like the industrial grime and grit has been washed clean of them. We've got more of a white gray color than the sort of the dark sooty running black of the other areas here. And even as you come into that main landing area where the other ornithopters are, where some of the space vessels are, you can see the grounds of the palace, and that there are people that are there, clearly members of the populace and so on, that are, lining up for petitions, lining up for having records processed, lining up for all of the things that are the bureaucracy of day-to-day life that they are starting to accept here. So that's one thing. Tell me, Brandon, what's another sign of the change in the few weeks that you've been gone? When we come in, either when you hit the ground or what we see from the air, what's another thing that we see? You are muted.
Another sign of the change that we see, let's see. I suppose that the palace before had a shield generator, so that's not different. What's different is that people are wearing better clothes now. They're not afraid to go out in their finery that might be, less practical if they got into trouble, or if the Imperial Guard decided to shake them down, or if they got into a scuffle or had to make a quick hasty exit back home. So the lesser tension in the populace is shown by the fact that they are they're more willing to display their wealth, or at least to put on a good face, even if where they don't have very much.
And I like that. And I think also then maybe on the sort of the complement to that is we do see people who have clearly done okay with the occupation, who are dressed a little bit better. We can maybe start to see maybe some of the hierarchies of how people made out in this, and maybe some of the class disparities that we're seeing here that have been established. Harry, what's another detail that we might see some sort of change of visual, again, from the air, or what Hayden sees when he hits the ground?
Having a little trouble with that one.
Sure.
I don't suppose
what have the set decorators done
yeah.
to make it look different, so we know that time has passed, or that a positive change has occurred?
I think we're probably going to see even more colors than was present at the marketplace that you described last time, but in more public areas, not just better, nicer clothes, but like families going out, which call it a lot more than normal. Usually, back in the old days, people would be, when they came out, they would be going from point A to point B, and doing it businesslike and trying to get through as little trouble as possible. And now it's a little bit more meandering. People are, going on long walks and even family picnics, stuff like that.
Yeah, so maybe another thing that Anthir has done is to establish some public spaces, grounds where things are being replanted, the promenades where people can walk around, the clearing the areas around what are going to be effectively the temples of the house, making it ready for people to gather there, to talk, and to have symposiums, which seems closer to the philosophy of the house's faith. Stall, what's another thing, one more thing that we see here? Tell us about the change.
The last remnant of the previous order, the palace has been reconfigured completely into the style of architecture of Anthir.
What is that? What is the style? I mean, what are the features of it? We talked about the sort of brutalist, Harkonnen-like building. How has that been shifted, redecorated, redone?
I think we went from Blade Runner to Blade Runner 2049.
Okay. So give us something. You're one who likes to work with color and things like that. So what do we see?
So I think it went from like whatever color the previous place has been like just like completely scalded away from the storms that hit it, and now it's like something really bright, like a pastel blue, to represent the wave that hits the cliff, I think is what we said, right?
The cliff that comes up to the shore.
Yeah, so it mimics the emblem that we have on our flag, and maybe there's even like some sort of maybe there's some 2049 drones that are hanging out by the palace, so that it creates an optical illusion of when you're coming at it, it actually looks like a wave that's like cresting over the house or something like that. And it's just being projected
it's a pricey luxury, but it's the kind of display that people would come to see and wonder at.
Maybe it's like the what is it in LA, the Tangiers, where they have it set to certain times and people go there to watch the display. It's an event.
Absolutely. And I like the idea of the sort of the blackened gunmetal blue that has been cleared away to make way for sort of a lighter blue and gold there. So yeah, when you hit the ground, your ornithopter comes down in close to the palace, in the space reserved for highly placed members of the household. And tell me, Serafina, who is there to greet you? Who from among the senior household people has been dispatched to kind of greet you and bring you into the household proper?
I'm looking at your lovely NPCs and thinking who would be most suitable. I think that I think it's Dr. Sung is there. Obviously for his own reasons.
And he will greet you, and he looks at you as you all come off, and he will say, well, you are well? The trip was good?
The trip was a relief.
That is as I thought. You have they've asked for you to go in to speak with various people to debrief but I've been given permission to request that before you go in, you come with me to my offices so that I may run some scans, both to check for things, but also to perhaps gauge any physiological issues that have resolved from your being so close to the anomalies. Is that, does anyone have a problem with that? No, good, good. And he says, follow me. And doesn't really talk as he walks you over to essentially the medical bay that they have set up. His office is there. He'll walk you down into these rooms and very efficiently, with not a particularly warm bedside manner, is lay down on the table. Okay, hold still. Doing that thing where he's running the scanner and I said hold still. You know, like the MRI techs do, you know, and they're like hold still. I'm like, I am holding still, and we'll run it up and down, across, and we probably see on a screen a display. Again, displays in Dune aren't like Star Trek sophisticated. I think they have a weird set of symbols, and it almost like the image is almost like they're hand drawn in some ways. Like that's how that's projected up there. And bone density. Yes, yes. Let's see. Have any of you experienced any vertigo?
Yes.
A little, yes.
Oh yeah,
I
the
may,
hum.
I may ask you to come back at a later time. I may want to do a deeper scan of your inner eardrums, just to make sure if we're going to have people living up there long term, I want to know what that means.
There are a great number of people that don't have the option, Dr. Stone.
Oh, I'm done. You can go.
Of course.
And that's as much as he dismisses you. So Seraphina, Hayden, Stahl, you have a moment amongst yourselves. I don't know if you want to talk about how you want to approach debriefing, or if you want to go your separate ways. I'll at least have a conversation about that here, whether you want to call for an audience with the Duke. So let's see the three of you. We will assume that for the moment that Ismina has been called off by her boss to specifically talk about some of the defensive postures and so on.
Are we coloring any of the facts, Hayden?
Well, I'll definitely, I would say that during the Ornithopter ride back, that it was probably very uncomfortable because Hayden was extremely raw, which is very off character. The entire time you've known him, he's been, placid, boring in the background, and his just nervous energy and fidgeting and just his body posture and everything like that was just like almost like painful to be in the same room with him. It's like he's close to a breakdown.
You would have noticed Seraphina starting to act out the same way. And at some point you recognize that she's dropped into report trance. And she starts to talk to you like she's feeling what you're feeling.
Just got to get back in the field. It'll just take me a few hours.
Yes. Yeah. No. It was awful. It's awful. Even though we had to do it. There wasn't a choice, was there? Really, not a choice at all. Just one action led to another. No time to think.
Yes, and it all came down to one decision. I mean, I really didn't know if I was going to be able to go through with it or not, even
No.
if for the house.
How could we?
I just
How
don't
could
know.
we? How could we know? How could no? How could anyone know? Really? I mean, anyone who says that they knew what they do in a situation like that, it was just lying or fooling themselves. That's clear. That's obvious, right? That should be obvious to anybody.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be, I don't know, bigger. I mean,
She's
it's just
huge. I mean, yeah, a towering man, and not this, just this despicable, angry, small villain.
yes. Well, I'm hoping that the house will take care of him because I really don't want to
No,
draw his blood.
no,
Yeah.
it's no, you can't. It's fratricide, parasite, right? One of the worst things you can do, even if however deserving he is.
Hopefully, I'll speak to Idris and I'll be back in action soon. But just for now, I'm probably going to need a little bit of space. It's no offense to anybody. It's just I just don't feel comfortable right now.
So are you gonna like shirk the summons?
No, I'm not gonna shirk the summons. Like I said, I just need a couple hours just to
Serafina
straight.
breaks report trance, and then pulls a container for that purpose from the side of the ornithopter and throws up. And when she's cleared that and coughed a little bit, she says, "I can speak for you if you want."
Yeah,
I think I think
intermediate.
I got enough of that. And of course the law will deal with your father,
Yes.
not you.
I thank you for that kindness. If something immediately dangerous or actionable has to be done, yeah, get a hold of me. But yes, I definitely need a couple of hours.
So, Stahl, what is your reaction to this sort of tension and mirroring and kind of maybe a lack of clarity about how this debrief is going to go?
I think I'm just following Serafina's lead and just kind of piggybacking on her empathy, giving him space and giving them space to talk about it. And then I think when we go into the summoning thing, the debrief, I'll similarly just give Serafina the lead so that I understand what we're going to be saying, what we're not going to be saying, if there's any of that, because I wasn't even there anyway. So everything's secondhand to me, regardless. I was just the distraction,
but a very good one.
So
you got a great number of non-combatants out of what could have been a terrible situation. We were fortunate that nothing happened, but that wasn't necessarily how it was going to take place.
Yeah, because if I knew my father, if they had even a little bit more time, just a little bit more space, they would have had human shields, and a lot of innocent people would have been dead.
That's absolutely clear. They would have cheerfully sacrificed any and every civilian in the area in order to buy themselves the merest advantage.
When we know now, I guess that they would have blown up the building.
they certainly had that device and that power source that could have been put to that purpose.
There you go. Saved everybody.
So, let's do this. Let's let's do Serafina and Stahl talking to some of the people. Serafina lead, and then we'll go to Hayden, and then we'll go to Stahl for lead. How does that sound like? Kind of do that structure. So Hayden, you'll kind of break off into the corridors. As with every place in Dune, everything is slightly dimly lit. Nothing is bright in here. And everything is stone and woodwork on the inside of this building. We'll see you head off down a hallway.
Just before Hayden leaves, Serafina looks at you. She touches her facial tattoo and she says, "I hear you, and I see through your eyes."
I do the salute of the house. What was it that we said was? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what we decided for that.
I think it's me that came up with it. So, but yeah, I definitely do that bow and then what you call it, leave pretty quickly.
So we'll see Serafina, Stahl. You will head in to that room where the conference was held earlier with the large table. We can see that it's a smaller group of people that are there. Off to the side, kind of in the shadows, seated, clearly listening, but not putting any, clearly not there to put in any input. You'll see Match Peak, who just seems to kind of blend in with the shadows. But you definitely see the Duke. We see the Duke's heir, Sec, is there, maybe a little uncomfortable in the sort of more formal uniform of the house. Clearly, he's been here throughout the day for other briefings and things, is perhaps getting a little impatient with things. But we also see your superior, Thursa Lowe, the marshal, is present, as is Zin Sasa, the counselor. And then the swordmaster is nearby, perhaps not in the room, but you certainly would pass him as you have come through. And the Duke says, "Master Serafina, Master Stahl, I have the preliminary report. But as I understand it, there was a major shift, a major event that occurred just before you returned."
That's accurate. We were able to co-opt one of the erstwhile criminal gangs in Sacknation.
Yes, we'll have a conversation about that in a moment.
Of course.
But go on.
With their assistance and with the assistance of some of the workers, and we were able to gain enough intelligence to organize an ornithopter strike onto the clan Haida, the largest criminal gang in Sacknation, as has been detailed in your notes. And we believe we have captured their leadership. And with any luck, the marshals are even now breaking the back of their power structure and replacing it with ours.
What do you mean? Does that mean arrests of the power structure, or does it mean putting them to service? What is it you're saying there?
I have given the marshals some we have used the amnesty that your lordship has granted to give the marshals a certain latitude in deciding who can be co-opted to serve the house, who can be allowed to depart, and who is to be arrested. We had compiled a list of the most notorious ones whose arrest would be mandatory, and the rest has been left up to the judgment of our incipient marshal service, with information from a certain Mulav and others who have shown themselves to be a good voice of the common people in identifying the worst offenders. And we don't have the resources to arrest everyone who has committed crimes, and I believe nor do we
Bottom
want
line,
to.
do you believe that Clan Haida presents an ongoing threat, or do you believe that this situation, the clan has been dealt with some finality? The leadership is gone. You've
I believe
also
that
grabbed others, but let's
there are-
make clear.
There are remnants of the clan who still pose a criminal threat, but as an organized force, they've been broken. The remnants may well be picked up by Zerat or other hostile forces to be used as auxiliaries, but their existing power structure is gone.
Stahl, tell me about these religio figures. You suspect they're from House Cameron, the
Yes.
old house?
I think so. I have managed to re-educate a person from that house who has had some ideological incepting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And from what I cannot tell the vector of those people, but I have established that the Bene Gesserit are here and are influencers and beyond me somewhat.
Are they involved?
The Bene Gesserit?
Are the Bene Gesserit involved with the creation of this this cult?
I'm unable to ascertain because I believe that there's a high-ranking, possibly Reverend Mother as the head or tip of the spear.
I will
functioning
speak
here.
with you in private about the matter of the Bene Gesserit later. But do you believe that this cult can be turned, or do you believe that it needs to be extinguished?
I think it can be turned, just as I did with the young man that I met, and hopefully the game that we're designing will be the function of that.
What about the theocratic engineers who put this into place? Are they still present? Or do you not know that?
Like the
people who created the cult, you implied that it was created on site, that there were people that from House Cameron that did that. Where are they?
we don't know. I tried to ascertain that from the person that I turned, but they have no idea either. We have to keep trying to root them out. But the game might do that.
The game.
The game might root them out, yes. It's designed for that.
Well, then I will speak with you about the Bene Gesserit issue after you've consulted with a high psychotheologian about what progress they've made. Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Now, these promises that you made, Serafina.
Yes.
To a criminal gang affiliated with a group of smugglers.
Yes.
Do you wish to make your case?
I do.
Then do so.
These were the people most motivated to take on Clan Haida, who was inevitably going to be the worst opposition to setting up a system of law. Zerat, as their mobilizing resources have not gotten their feet planted yet in this regard, and it was necessary that we destroy Clan Haida before they got assistance from Zerat of any more than a nominal capability. One. This clan was willing to put themselves entirely in the line of fire and ally themselves categorically to House Anther. Two. This clan has a great fund of knowledge of the existing resources in and around the city, and in conjunction with the smugglers, they have a network they have a network of trade already set up with out-planet resources that has been bringing in and trafficking in significant wealth from which Hatantir could benefit. Three.
So let me stop you here. This is you making a case. I kind of know what the difficulty thresholds are to see like what the level of reaction is. So tell me, what is it you want to roll for presenting your case to the Duke here?
Duty and communication.
Okay. Then let's have you roll that.
And we have no momentum. I am spending my house determination.
Ooh, for a reroll?
You bet, since that was a miss.
Wow.
15 or less, right? So
Yeah.
two 16s is not.
that is the roller. That is the roller.
And now I'm spending my other determination.
Ooh, to get rid of the complication. Yeah.
Correct. Both my house discipline and my own personal things on the line here.
Okay.
Depending upon whether my focus applies, that is either two or
I think
four
we're at
successes.
we're at 4 successes. So I think there is this thing where she listens and maybe her attitude, you can see, kind of softens a little. But she says, we cannot follow through on the promises that you have made, but we're going to have a conversation about that and what we can do, which is to say that we will expect more from them if this is the thing we are going to do. But we will have another conversation about that, Serafina, once I've had a chance to speak with others. You've provided me with some things to think about, and I wish to consult with other counsel.
Yes, my lord.
Hayden, what is it that you do when you kind of split off from your colleagues there?
I think he's going to be going probably to one of the balcony area that's overlooking the quarters that he's been giving in the palace, and he's going to be pacing in and out of his room up to the edge of the balcony and looking out across the city. And just he's got nothing but like nervous energy. It's like he wants to do something, but he doesn't have anything to do immediately, and he's just wound up. And it's just basically to try and stave off the inevitable crash that's coming.
And there will be that knock at the door.
Okay, I walk over and answer the door.
And a little bit surprising to you, you see the royal consort is there.
Sorry, Lord. How can I
Oh,
help you?
no, there's no apology. I'm intruding on your peace.
Well, it's something akin to peace, but I don't know if it is peace.
May I come in?
Yeah, yes, Lord.
He steps inside and looks, and he says, they're giving you a good room.
Yes, it is good for one of my stature.
We're not allowed windows or such easy egress in our quarters.
Yes, well, I need to be able to access the outside world very quickly.
I understand that things were challenging for you. Things were challenging for you personally in Sucknagan.
Yes, I think I have spotted a weakness in House Anthir. And I'm just afraid that that weakness is me, at least for the current situation.
Sit. Your pacing is going to make me mad here.
I finally sit on the what's called a chair that's by the window, and you see him take a deep breath, and the fidgeting. He takes some concentration, but the fidgeting comes to a bit of an end, and he settles a little bit back into his normal placid nature.
Do you you say weakness, but it's from the sound of it, from what I've heard, you've dealt with the problem, right?
Yes, but going forward, I think this house might need to employ a new position in the higher ranks, because I don't know if I will be able to do certain jobs here on this planet.
Why?
As much as I've been training almost my entire life for this purpose, I find that taking life is got a cost, and I wasn't expecting it. Training is one thing, actually doing it is another. I think I'm going to be sending a request that we might need a master of assassins as well as a spy master for the house and for the future, because I don't think I'll be able to perform that job.
It is my experience that the best spy masters and best assassins have a decent sense of the value of lives.
Yeah, it's just different when the blood is actually on your hands. I didn't expect such a heavy weight. I thought it would be much easier. I mean, my childhood was nothing to laugh at. Violence was an everyday affair. But then coming to your planet and experiencing the joy that your people have, it's changed me. I don't want to go back to the person that I was before, and I'm afraid that this might lead to that.
Well, I'm not the one to say what is or what is not to be, but I am here to tell you that you are a member of this house, and until you decide to leave your own will, you are welcome here. But you should speak to your mentor, and I think you should put aside whatever violence you're doing to yourself for the moment.
Yes, I will try. Thank you.
And he will stand up, and I will speak with you later.
Thank you for your time, Lord.
Stall, who do you go talk to?
Well, I think after that, I'd definitely go see the head psychotheologian.
Okay, let's give him a name. We will call him Lemmy. And he's like, "Oh, back sooner than I thought you would be, Stall."
Well, there's a more urgent need for the game now, more than ever, actually.
Yes, we're working on that. Have you brought me any local information? Thought
Yes,
patterns, mimetics, use the religio lab to pull together some forms?
yes, I have made a lot of headway on that, though not completely. Hopefully enough to complete the design, though. These people are in and amongst us.
Let's have you feed your assessments into the workings there. I imagine cards are made up, things are names, notations, new filament sheets are made with what you're saying and patterns. They're laying them on top of one another and moving them around. What do you think is appropriate for passing the information that you got? You got some information, but not a full engram of their society.
I'm probably using the understanding cultural studies.
Perfect. And what about for your drive?
Probably faith.
Okay.
Philosophy is a sharp blade. I'm trying to make this my main tool.
14 or less, and 6s or less are 2s.
And I think I'll use. So do I use my determination now? No, later, right?
No,
If
you can
it's
use
bad.
it later.
Okay. Yeah, 1 in a 5.
1 in a 5. So
Yeah.
4 successes.
Is the one like a critical?
They're 2 successes. Both of them are criticals. Like if you want to say critical, then both of them are criticals. Okay. Yeah, he's impressed. Like he has to call over other people to look at the notes there, and you're reciting the information, you're talking about the analogies, and he's like, that's mythopoetic 79, bring that over. Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, like a promised one, a returner. Okay, let's do. Okay. So we've got. I think we can put this into what we've got, but we'll need you to come back down right now. We the sort of the games that we've set up has a little more space required. You wanted something more physical and interactive, so we're trying to get it so it's more easily portable, and that the rules are a little clearer. But if you come back down in a day or two, I'll have you look at the prototype.
Excellent. And when it's ready, we can even apply it to a person that I managed to deprogram out there, who is a part of at least a peripheral part of the people we are trying to root out.
Now, you wanted this as it's a group game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, yes, come back in a couple of days and we will look at this. This is very promising. What you've brought us is very, very useful.
Excellent.
Let's take our break here. Let's take 10, and then we will come back and get rolling further. Okay. So with these things having happened, what I'd like to do is a once around with everybody about who they're talking to, who they're interacting with, and that can be NPCs, PCs as you see fit, just so we can flesh some things out a bit. We've got the NPCs tab, which has a number of the seniors and so on. So let's start the order we kind of set ourselves going in with Serafina. After this, I mean, didn't say no, but didn't say yes kind of reaction from the Duke and being put on the spot. Where do we see you? What do we see you doing, and who are you talking with?
I'm talking to Hayden if Hayden's around, or if not, then to Stall.
Yeah. So Hayden, where would you run into Serafina?
It'd probably be in the like should have like a central public area or near the entrance hall, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably be talking with some of the NPCs that are locals that are working in the palace for us and stuff. You know, just I'm checking in with the people, with my people, basically.
Sounds good.
Serafina will come up to catch your eye, and she has a bottle.
Yeah, I finished speaking really quick with one guy, and he departs real quick, and I nod towards you, and I start walking over. Hayden seems a lot more relaxed than a couple hours ago. His composure is back in place. Yeah.
Serafina looks like she's been through the mill.
Yeah, I think you need the drink more than I do.
Yes, well, but I had to be sociable, didn't I?
Yes. Well, any excuse for liquor is good in my book.
This is actually local, and it's not bad. It's a sort of a purple flower essence, but it kicks.
Oh yes. Yeah, it used to flow in many of the bordellos around here.
Yes, this is not new to you. Sorry, I
Yeah.
feel foolish for forgetting that. It shows where my mind is.
Yeah, it's all good. That's one thing they do make very well here on this planet, and that is spirits. Everything else is ramshackle in comparison.
It's ramshackle now.
Yes. It'll be better soon, I hope.
Maybe not soon, but one foot in front of the other.
Exactly.
Good gosh. After I gave my report, there was this pause. Just no one said a word. And it was all I could do to stand there with a straight face.
Let me guess.
And not say or do a thing or even blink too much. Whew.
Yeah, that kind of happens to me a lot, especially with the higher ups. The Duke is a good man, though.
The Duke is a good person, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get that wrong? I forgot to check the NPC.
She, her for the Duke.
She, her.
Sure. The Duke is good, but on the other hand, well, just like you, I had to make a decision on the spur of the moment, and I may have made a career-ending one. We will see. But I couldn't. I've gone over it in my head again and again and again, and I couldn't have said it any better than I did. but it took everything I had not to break composure while underneath those collective gazes, as I told them what I had, well, committed the house to in essence.
Kind of feels like they're, double checking your work, or
No, well, I'm an empath. I know who in the room thought I'd clearly overstepped the bounds of my office.
I
And
must apologize. Then I think you might have took some of my emotions in with you, with the kindness that you showed me on the ornithopter.
how could I not do that? I mean, most of the Marduk school empaths go on into patient care. My my going into law is a definite minority avocation. But the Duke was uncertain, and so nobody else said anything.
Is
The
this
Duke was turning. I could tell that she was turning over and over in her head whether or not I had done something brilliant or something that was a termination offense, and she couldn't make up her mind which one it was.
I'm guessing this is the offer to House de Sparta?
Correct. But
Yes.
I still think it was the right call.
It
We needed their
definitely-
wholehearted help, and we needed it immediately. If Zerat had gotten their hooks into Haida seriously, had brought them in off-world weaponry and specialists, and the promise of support, I don't know that we could have taken them.
Yeah, no, their help was definitely needed. I think your offer was perfect. I think the Duke is just looking at it more in long-term
Of course.
plans. Most likely, an offer like that, we could probably string them along for years and keep them on the hook and doing things for us if we wanted to.
Well, for nobility, I mean, that has to wait until the Imperium allows it.
Yes,
but we have to be seen. But we have to be seen to be working in good faith, or at least I have to be. If House Anthier repudiates that even in spirit, then that will be the end for me.
Yes. Okay. Now I see. Yes.
Because
the fact that you can only speak truth.
I committed myself to do everything I could. If the House overrules me, that will be the end of my tenure here. Which frankly, I don't know what I'd do if I lost my post. In addition to the incredible shame of it all.
I really don't think that's going to be a problem. I do think that they're going to come around. I think it is the right path forward. I think you have a long career here ahead of you. I really don't think that they're going to end it just for this one.
Everything I've read in history, and I know you understand this, which is why I wanted to talk to you. Bold strokes. Caution never wins in unstable situations like this. Better to make a bold mistake almost than to be careful.
Yes, it's better to do anything rather than nothing.
All the all the all the books of political history and even the Modico military history that I've seen, it's all how many things were won simply because they were done quickly and with complete determination.
I'm gonna pause here. I want to. We might, if we want, we can come back to that scene, but I think we want to move on. But I think there's a nice parallel in terms of people thinking they're going to leave the house there between the couple of scenes. So I think that's good. Stall, you're have some time to kill before you have to go back and do another report in. What are you doing, or do you want me to throw something at you? If you have an idea for a scene, we can do that.
The only thing I could think of is possibly going to more religious establishments and trying to glean more to, try to root out more of those people somehow.
Well, let me frame out something for you. Suggest this because they have established more of these sort of faith centers for House Anthea out, and you've when you came in, you saw that people were attending them. So I think maybe we see you there, looking and seeing reading people's responses to the things that are being presented forward. And I think as you are doing that, you will be approached by a figure dressed with markers, and it takes you a second to kind of place what they have, but definitely they have markers of the imperial household, and they will say, "You are Stall, correct?"
The imperial household is like the emperor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I am Emissary Malero. I am the imperial agent of the change.
I see. And what are you doing here?
I am overseeing. I am making sure that things are going well, that the protocols are being followed as are required. Certainly, I've heard your name spoken amongst several people as a engineer of sorts.
Well, what we are attempting here takes a lot of fine minds, and I am only one among them.
You are one among them, but I think that there is something of a pyramid at work here with you at the apex of it, or you and a few others.
I'm certainly doing my best. Is the emperor displeased in some way?
My role is as the agent of the change to make sure that the transfer of authority and such happens peacefully and according to the writs and requirements here. The proper fees are paid, the proper procedures are followed. I am not one to critique heresies.
I see. And you've come to this humble establishment to partake in our little philosophy faith center?
I follow the way of the Orange Bible. That is my faith, not whatever this is.
It is a necessary thing for this planet, even if you don't understand it. It is certainly a useful tool.
Do you wanna push on her? Do you want to push back a little?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think it is here for a little like a dance of words?
Maybe composure, communicate.
Okay. And I definitely think your faith is the appropriate one with that determination statement.
Alrighty. 2d20. Ooh, 9 and a 16.
9 and a 16. So that's one success. So you don't get to put a trait on her as
Okay.
you might otherwise with the success. Um, and you can tell that she's deliberately baiting you.
Okay.
Like when you go to engage in the kind of conflict, the back and forth, you realize that yeah, she's not deeply engaged in this conflict, and there's something weird about that. Does that seem like a fair thing? And kind of ends up with a little bit of a draw, but as much a draw because she takes that step back.
Mm. Is it possible that hidden motives comes into effect then?
Let's see here.
It says that they have to fail though.
Yeah. So I think in this case, the failure, I would have given you the trait if you had succeeded against them. But I think that
Yeah.
that while you sense that there are deeper rivers here, you're not sure entirely what is going on.
What about putting theory into practice?
And what does that do?
Yeah, I built my character to just be like a trait machine, basically.
So you do you want to swap around since this conflict has come to kind of a draw to try and draw out what's happening?
Yeah, like well, it says, would you obtain information? Did I do that?
So when you obtain information, you either do that as an action,
Oh, okay.
or if you get extra successes, you can spend those to gain information. But I think at this point it was a deadlock.
Okay.
Do you want to push on this further?
Mm,
I'm going to say you can, but maybe a little bit higher difficulty.
yeah, why not?
Okay, absolutely. Hey, do you want an extra die?
Like to increase your threat, you mean?
No. Well, that's a secondary effect. But you get another D20.
And how much do you get put up by?
Just one.
Just what?
Just one.
Does it reset every time?
It will reset to the default level unless I've got more.
Let's do it.
Okay. So give yourself an extra die. And what do you think it is for you to try and analyze what's going on with her?
I almost want to say discipline.
Okay. And what drive? Truth?
But discipline, as written, it doesn't really make sense. It seems to be a
communicate or understanding maybe feels stronger to that.
Maybe communicate then.
Okay. So communicate and truth.
Yeah. So 3d20?
3d20, look at that.
I gotta be able to succeed now. 6, 13, 14.
So that's 3 successes.
Is the 6 composure help me out?
No, because I think you're actually probing to get information. I think that's if somebody were attacking you or coming at you. So 3 successes. Difficulty is 2. So I'm going to give you your question, and then you've got a momentum that you could spend on a follow-up question, or you can throw it in the pool. So what is it you want to know? What do you want to know in this going back and forth, the sort of the sharp tongue, the little battle of words here that's going on?
Yeah. Is she what is her ulterior motive, basically? Or is she just trying to barb me?
You realize as she's talking to you that she is very clearly aware of that created cult up there in Sacknagan. and that maybe part of what she's trying to do is figure out how much you know about it. Momentum
Interesting.
or a follow-up question?
Can I do the putting theory into practice now that I obtained information?
Absolutely. Then you get to put a trait on her. So what is that trait?
Which must represent an advantage, opportunity, or a weakness. Can I make her think that I'm sort of just like an airhead about it or something like?
Underestimating you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A certain amount of arrogance and underestimating. Yeah, absolutely. We'll put that trait on her. I'll make a note of that. What do you want to do with that extra momentum?
As a conciliatory gesture to my companions, I will put it into the pool to make up for the threat a little bit. And then, since I think that she knows more, then maybe I'll just tail her.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely a spy.
You're so, that's such your thing. So as she heads off, you will move to follow her. Speaking of the actual spy, Hayden, one of the other operatives for your master, Cardano, comes to where you are and says, Hayden.
I'm sorry. We'll just say that they interrupt me and Serafina, finishing off the bottle.
Yes.
Remember? So got a little bit of a buzz. Sorry. Yes. How can I help you?
You need to come with me now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, duty calls. I want to thank you, Serafina. I hope that things will be good for you going forward. Keep your chin up. I think everything will turn out all right.
If the house prospers at my expense, then that will have to be good enough.
And then do the salute and follow the guy quickly.
And he heads to the main hall room again. And you definitely notice that there's a change in the air. Like there's some more activity and tension, and something is going on. And you will come in, and you see Cardano is seated at the table, as is Match Peak, the advisor, somewhat unusually, as well as Vadhana, the envoy, and they're in conversation. And you see a couple of other of the spy masters people in here, and you're kind of directed over to where they're at, though. Idris sees you and actually gestures for you to come and points at the seat next to her.
Yeah, I move efficiently to it and sit down and keep my mouth shut.
And the Duke breaks off what she's saying, and she says, you weren't at the briefing earlier.
Yes, I must apologize, Lord. I had to collect myself, but I do believe my words probably should have reached Idris. I mean, I did sit right next to her listening device in my quarters.
That is neither here nor there. The next time when there's a call for a report in, you will come and you will speak.
Yes.
I understand that there was some difficulty or resolve regarding the resolution to the matter of your father.
Yes, I came very close to eliminating him instead of capturing him.
Were I in your position, I would not have blamed you for that. So the situation, though, is are you prepared to continue on with your duties right now in the present moment?
Okay, real quick question.
Yes.
Is she addressed as lady or lord?
You can do either one, or Duke.
Okay. Yes, my dude.
You have been gone from here for a couple of weeks, working up there. I need you to take a couple of people that you trust, and I need you to sweep this building and the outside grounds. I want another set of eyes here, particularly if there are people that are out of place, rather than weapons or scanners or anything like that. Anyone who shouldn't be where they are.
So you want a dragnet in place?
I want your eyes to do a once over on here now. I will explain why soon enough, but I need you to go and do that. You have the next few hours. Talk to who you need to, take who you need to do that. But post haste.
Yes, my dude. And I salute and I get immediately to work.
Okay. What do you think the role is for doing this, for doing this read on things? And Seraphine has offered to help, which can complement you with an extra die.
Okay. I think it's definitely for a drive. It's going to be duty.
Okay.
And focus. Let's see here. Eyes. That's kind of in his wheelhouse of his profession. So would it be discipline, maybe?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. All right. So that is 14s and under.
Serafina's help involves her talent for reading body language. People can disguise their faces if they're good, but they can't always disguise the way they walk.
So for the help, that's...
so what happens is Seraphina will also roll a d20 using the same pair of same pairing of skills trait that you did.
So 2d20, because I'm not going to give you any threat, and I'll leave the momentum in the pool. Let's see here. Ooh, a 1 and a 12.
Another 13.
So that'll be 3 successes for me.
3 successes for you. I'm going to spend a threat.
You said discipline and duty?
Yep.
So you got 4 successes, actually.
4 successes.
Oh, okay.
Because I got a success as well.
Okay, cool.
Then let me grab this. Where's my stupid roller? Because I'm a GM and because I'm not used to rolling, I always forget to bring the roller up.
PBTA has spoiled us all.
It has.
2d6
Okay.
for everything.
And the GM never rolls.
Yeah.
So you'll end up with momentum as well as a success here. So I think that you will see, and they're not like on the grounds, but like out in the courtyards and things like that, outside where the public is gathering and things like that. There are a couple of people that their stance, their approach, the way they keep their lines of sight open, the way they're observing things, the way they are in with the crowd that is going to get like documents and things like that, but they kind of keep cycling and they're not actually going in, says to you that these people are like observing. You're not entirely certain yet by what they're doing, but you have 1 momentum on top of that spotting of these 2, which you could put in the pool, or you could spend that to ask a question.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to spend that to ask a question. Do any of these people, especially with Seraphina's help with the body language advice, have moved like anybody else that I've seen on the planet before? Like, are they like maybe from Carlusian, or can I recognize who they're working for? Or
No, but it does twig something else. And you remember when you were in Sacknagan, you remember Ismina describing those House Zerat people that took off and like their stance and their motions and things like that. And I think that will click into place. Like you're like, these people are from House Zerat.
okay.
May not be able to prove it, but I know they are.
Yeah, I'll definitely share that information with Seraphina to start with. Is like I think we have Zerat eyes. There might be something coming
Shall we
sooner
move?
rather than later.
Shall we move to have them arrested, or simply monitor them?
I think we should probably maybe make one of them disappear and leave the others in place. Now, how to do that might take a little.
You know, you're the expert. You're the expert there. I can call out marshals and have the ones we can see grabbed, but it'll be.
There's just two of them that you've seen, so very, very light crew here.
I think the marshals might be a little bit too open. It lets them know that we know. We want to keep them in the dark as much as possible. If we can nab one without making too much of a scene,
you want someone to pick a fight with them then.
Yeah, pick a fight with one of them, and then we make the other one disappear. Well, not disappear. We grab the other one when the other one gets the fight started.
So, Seraphina, how do you want to put that into play?
Yeah, I'll be the sacrificial lamb. Oh yeah, I'll go up to. Let's see. What can I tell? Here, I'm entering a scene. I'll use my talent.
Sure.
What would piss this person off? What would get an emotional reaction out of them?
That's a good question here. He's done. That is wanting for that.
Something about his origin, his clothing, or how can I strike a nerve?
I think that there's a certain amount of Zerat feeling a higher level of cultural sophistication, and like old standards. And I think maybe if you call him, on being, lowborn or poorly mannered or anything like that, like those will strike true.
I'll kind of step in and chat with the crowd, and then I'll bump him, and I'll say, "Hey, lowlife, were you born in a pigsty?"
What do you think?
Watch where you're going.
What do you think is the appropriate combo here to break through this guy's discipline? He's clearly a trained agent.
Yes. This is social awareness, absolutely. So it's communication with social awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not actually I don't know if he's a lowlife or not. So I'm not going to use truth.
Okay.
But I'll use duty. I can't. My commitment to truth means I can't use it on something that I don't know to be true.
True.
So, all right. And I'll take that momentum. Hopefully I'll give it back.
Okay.
4 successes.
4 successes. So I think it's 2 successes to do this, giving you 2 extras. Yeah, and I think that he moves in. It isn't like he's flailing about, but he gets angry enough that he will push forward on you, and that bumps other people, and like all the attention is drawn that way.
Who do you think you are? I'll have you know I'm an important person here in this town, and I'll shove him,
And what
and
you
we
what do you
go on
want?
from there.
Yeah. So I think that with that success, that Hayden, you and your people can grab the other guy.
Okay, real quick before we do that, when he was starting the fight, I just wanted to get on the communicator with Stahl real quick to have him meet us at the side entrance, because we're only going to have like about 5-10 minutes for him to like pollinate this guy and get whatever info he can, so that we can release him back.
Stahl's communicator isn't working right now.
Ooh. Okay. All right, so I guess
Come
we'll
back
keep
to
him
why
then.
that is in a moment. But yeah, you grab this guy up.
Yeah, I'll put the momentum into the pool.
Yeah, Serafina, you push this guy. Do you want to have him arrested? Do you want to have him grabbed up? What do you want the end result of that to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have him arrested, asked a few perfunctory questions, and then told to get the hell out, to get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Troublemaker.
All right.
And I'll I'm not going to say anything that's not true, but
Sure.
I'll let him assume that I'm just some affronted petty noble.
Sounds good. One guy's captured, the other guy is pulled away. Stall, kind of following behind. What do you think is the appropriate skill for like measuring your awareness of the situation and following this person?
Move.
Yeah, I like that.
And duty. A person is an appendage of the house.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best for the house out of my comfort zone.
So you 10s or less. There are a couple of momentum in the pool.
No, that's fine. I kind of like it if I fail anyway.
All right.
Oh, double 7s.
Double 7. So 2 successes. So what is the thing that twigs you to the hunter-killer drone? This spider.
Oh, I know. Maybe as I'm following the clouds shift and the sun hits down, and I see the shadow of it, like
just like a little thing, a little mechanical spider that dart, and it is, and you realize that it is targeting you. What do you do?
I wonder if I even know how to take something on. I do have unarmed combat, so maybe I know how to. Is it plausible that I know what that is?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's plausible. We'll see how good you are at dealing with it in a moment.
Yeah, well, I'll attempt to deal with it.
So what do you think that is? I mean, in Dune, they've got the little dart that somebody's running, and it's not particularly good visuals. Here, we got a little spider that's scurrying along the wall. Probably has the same sort of visual issue. So what is it that you do to negate this thing with your skills here?
I also have an asset to define, so maybe however I do, maybe some kind of scrambler or something.
So yeah, what asset do you have to deal with this hunter killer that's going to murder you?
Yeah, I like the idea of like a communication blackout thing, like a
And
disruptor.
It explains why Hayden couldn't get a hold of you on the communicator.
Yeah.
All right, let's have you roll.
Okay.
I'll let that asset reduce the difficulty.
So battle and probably duty again.
Okay. So 11 or less. Now,
Yeah.
do you want to use momentum?
Yeah, I think I'll use one momentum. I think I need some. 11, 2, and 19.
So that feels like 3 successes. Am I right? With unarmed combat and
With
duty?
unarmed
Yeah.
combat, yeah.
Yeah. So what does that look like? Like when you pull out this scrambler and go to strike at it, as it moves to do that leap with the poison needle, what is it that we see you do?
I think the disruptor is like some fancy little device that they give me as a pollinator when I go out to different places. It's my backup Mission Impossible device when they're like, if you're super effed, just hit your pin. And I'm like, I'm effed, I'm effed, I'm effed. So I think as I see the shadow darting towards me, I just like duck down and hit the pin, and there's like a little disruption burst that pops out, and maybe the needle goes spinning or something.
Yeah, and it falls to the ground. And do we see you put your boot down on it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I make sure it's broken, but I take it because it's also a evidence.
Yeah. So we see you crush it underfoot, and then step back. It's got the bright green liquid that indicates poison. You'll pop that into a bag. You'll look around. There's a certain limit to how far away someone can be and use one of these, but you don't see anybody there. And of course, communication's down on your communicators and about everybody in the next who's using any kind of communicator in the next couple of blocks over are blacked out.
I'm guessing the person that I'm following is no longer there.
That's correct.
Surprise.
Surprise. So what I want to do is let's take a 5 break. And while that's going on, I'm going to fill Danielle in on what has happened and kind of set up what's going on with Ismina, and then set up what is in fact occurring that has the Duke freaked out.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Does that sound okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the group returned back to the capital. We put the sort of whole gravatic thing on hold. You've assigned people there. They're looking into it, that kind of thing. So it's not something that's going to blow up right now. You've returned back. There was some conversations between Seraphina and Hayden on the way back, illustrating Hayden's problematic turn of mind.
Wishing that he had killed his dad, or
I think more worried that he isn't qualified to be someone who is a killer for the house.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though that wasn't explicit in that conversation in the ornithopter, but when they arrived, Seraphina and Stahl went off to the briefing. Hayden did not go, but the consort came and visited him and had a conversation, which is the point at which we kind of got that illumination of that's what's going on.
Okay.
And they went to the briefing, and they a few people were there, including the Duke. The Duke's heir was there. Some other people, and there was some questioning of Seraphina and Stahl. Seraphina kind of gave the background on what was going on. The Duke pointedly made reference to the house that you had the clan that you had co-opted, and said, we're going to talk about that in a moment. And then asked some hard questions that Seraphina went through pretty well. And then Stahl got called on the table for not tracking down these cult engineers. And the Duke clearly is a little bothered that problem was not entirely taken care of, but
The
there is
returner, that one, the
yeah
returner or the
yeah
giver.
that whole
forget.
thing that
Okay.
while it had been uncovered and you turned one of the people that those engineers are probably still present and so on, and there was some talk about the Bene Gesserit as well. Then the Duke turned back to Seraphina and indicated that the asking for this the clan to become
The
a
vassal house.
vassal house is a big ask, and maybe not within the Seraphina's scope of duties in some ways, but was given a chance to make the case for this, and Seraphina did very well. Made the case strongly for Desparto, but it's clearly a really big ask. And the Duke didn't say no, but didn't say yes, and clearly has some reservations, and made it clear that more would be asked of Desparto before any kind of commitment, which puts Seraphina in kind of a bad place in some ways. So some
And we needed Desparto because they helped us with Haida.
They helped you with
us.
Haida, and they're one of the two remaining gangs and could probably bring stability to the city. And they have the ties to the smugglers, and by bringing them in, you also bring in the smugglers. So there are a lot of benefits that Seraphina elucidated.
And in the conversation with Hayden, did it sound like the consort was asking him to do more killing for the house, or just kind of figuring out what was going on?
Clearly checking in on him, like, in a sense, probably sent to go and see how he was, since some of that information would have been sent ahead. Let's see. Stahl went and talked to the head psychotheologian and made some headway on that. Seraphina tracked down Hayden, and they had a conversation in which now Hayden assured Seraphina that everything was cool, and that she would have a job with the house, and it was all good. I'm being incredibly reductionistic of the exchange here, so I'm apologizing for that. But then Stahl ran into the Imperial agent of the change, who engaged with Stahl in a little back and forth duel of words. And while Stahl didn't come out great in that, Stahl then was able to pull out some information, and certainly put it in the emissary's mind that that he's to be underestimated, to be is not anything, like he's a vacuous idiot. And then Stahl decided, I'm going to follow her because that's my strength. Meanwhile, Hayden was called in by the Duke, was told, I need you right now, because you haven't been here for a while, to do a quick run-through assessment on security for the building, like something's clearly going on, but she didn't say what it was. Hayden went out, brought Seraphina along to help. They spotted a couple of people who had that same stance and things from what you had seen with Zerat before. Seraphina created a distraction with one, while Hayden grabbed up the other. And while that was going on, Stahl was following the emissary, as you saw, and was attacked by a hunter-killer.
Okay, that's the fact, because I heard like needle and like hearing that whimper, and I was like, did you stab a Bene Gesserit? Is this what's happening?
It's a Gom Jabbar.
I was like, is the Gom Jabbar shown up, and I missed it because I was visiting someone in the hospital? Okay, cool.
So Ismina, you were, when you hit the ground, like right away, your like not your direct boss, the sword master, but Orestia, the war master, like would have grabbed you before you could go in to do that, and they would have said, "Walk with me," and essentially they force you for the last couple of hours to walk around and give you the full like dispensation of
the building, the infrastructure, and everything. That
Did the book help?
The book was invaluable for the initial assessment of the infrastructure. The issues that happened later were more the people inside of it, and I'm afraid I don't have a book for that yet. But
right.
This was.
I've been told that you can pick 100 troops to your choice for officers and boots on the ground, and we will have them sent to Socknagan to back up what you've done there. So that should be one of your first orders of duty, is to go and make that call. Does that seem okay?
Yeah.
I know it's not exactly your task, but
do you have a recommendation of the kinds of people I should be looking for, or some is this the idea, just like out of character, is this like promoting people, or like picking from a certain like family of people or a certain like groups, and just
you have the sense that Arestia, you've given Arestia the situation on the ground, and so they have some sense of it, but you've been there. You know the kind of people that you really need to provide serious security, to take control of those choke points and so on. And so Arestia is really putting their trust in you to make that decision.
Yeah, I think Ismina would nod and kind of reflect that this was an honor, and just say that I don't think it's the typical, I don't think we're going to need our quartermasters there. We need people who can blend in, who can fit in the shadows. The straight up front marching soldiers are not going to work there as much as people who are good at being flexible.
What's the name for the unit among House Anthea that is probably given a little more to Cloak and Dagger, or a little more to kind of that special op thing? What's the name for them?
I think probably they are a lot of the units like are fine being like unit 2, unit 4, etc. And I think they are the sea dragons. Who are kind of like in the water, in and amongst the cliffs, like in our the water against the cliff.
Orestes says, go to the sea dragons, take who they can spare, and get a couple of their senior people to back you up, and they're about to say something else when this person comes running up and says, War Master, you're needed now. And looks and sees you as well. Come.
Okay. I think Ismina is like, are weapons needed?
This person is like clearly unsure. But
right,
comes, you come, pick up your pace, come running, and you will see Zelf there, and he looks and he sees you, and he sees the War Master, and he says, we have a rapidly changing situation right now. We have guests arriving, highly placed guests, unexpected. I need you to rouse everyone. I need you to get a ceremonial guard up. I need you to secure the perimeter as quickly as possible. I need people on the ground.
Do we need, I think Ismena would use whatever code they have for like, we were protecting the guests. Do we also need eyes on the guests?
He says, the Duke of House Paracos and her entourage will be landing on planet here
Understood.
within the next hour or two. There is a rapidly changing situation. We don't know the dimensions of it, but the Duke has been forced to provide hospitality.
Okay. I think she just nods and is like, you can reach me, indicates her communicator, and briefly puts a hand on where I think Zelf would know that she has like the nerve poisons, just kind of like, should it develop further, let me know.
Zelf says, there may be some threat here from Paracos, but as much as anything, I'm worried what would occur if anything were to happen to the head of House Paracos while they were here, what that would mean for us.
Okay. Understood. So you don't think a direct threat to the Duke or the consort at the moment, except in that entrapment way.
We need a mentat and we don't have one.
You get enough heads in a room.
Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. War Master, I've got names. Names are so hard sometimes. Ismena, you have your orders. See to things. Yep. So Hayden, you've got this guy grabbed up, and you're kind of moving him off. Seraphina has arrested the other person, and that's when there'll be kind of a shadow that passes over, and you will see a large ship. These are the ships that are in the guild ships, the big cylinders. These are the ships that fly in, that come down. It's a big ship, with the great landing bays that are kind of come down and people can march out kind of thing. It probably can hold 1,000 people in it kind of thing. And you see it's a different design than the one of your house. So you will immediately realize that it is not House Anthir, but neither are like the defenses, like turning or firing. So it's clearly not a threat. And in fact, the shield is partially lowered to permit it to land. And everybody is like, "What's going on? What do you do, Hayden?"
Okay, so I'm going to immediately give this guy to the two underlings, and I tell them, get him to a secure location now. We'll have to deal with him later. Something much bigger is happening. Move.
And they grab him. They secure him, and they move him off essentially into the undercells, where he'll be isolated, where communications will be cut off, all of that kind of thing. So what do you do?
I'm going to immediately fast walk to the main foyer and see if I can find somebody who's a little bit higher up, or one of my compatriots. See if I can find somebody to find out what exactly is going on.
I like the idea that you run into Stahl, who was making their way back with kind of this, I'm going to show off this hunter killer thing. This is going to be great. And then this enormous freaking spaceship came over. So Stahl, you see Hayden.
Somebody tried to kill me.
Just today?
Just moments ago.
With what?
A hunter seeker? Hunter
Oh,
killer? Hunter something.
okay. Yeah, no, somebody was definitely trying to, move on us.
I was following an imperial
The agent of the change.
agent of the change.
Oh, you were messing with an Imperial. Great.
I wasn't messing, I was just following politely.
Politely.
I just wanted to see where they were going, and now there's a giant spaceship above us, so
yeah, let's go find out what's going on.
Obviously these things are connected.
They could be. Maybe we should talk later and I can give you some tips on how to follow correctly.
I was following very well.
Yes, I know, but I can give you a little better skills at that.
I think that you two will see Zinsasa, who is the counselor, who's one of the senior people, who talks to the local populace, who's kind of come jogging out. He's throwing orders around to the staff and servants and so on. And he's given those orders. You see him kind of take a breath there, and you can move up to him. In between him moving on to go put another task in play. And he will say, "The Lord Stahl, Hayden, did you know this was coming?"
I'm in the dark. I do not know.
He looks at Stahl, because Stahl, like he clearly thinks, well, Stahl's a theologian. He must know a lot of stuff. He must be in on the inner things. He looks at you like,
only hours ago at our meeting, nothing of this was mentioned.
oh, yeah. I have to go and secure additional supplies for it. We're going to have to break into the cellars and the things that we had put aside, luxuries and so on. This is not what I planned on for today.
Let us know how we can help.
I don't know. I may have to have you set tables. We'll find out. And he rushes off, yelling at some of the stewards, and you do see like they're clearly pulling out things for guests, and food is being moved around and all of that kind of stuff. Let's cut over to Serafina. You've kind of just finished turning this guy over to the local authorities. When you hear that sort of rising and look up and see that ship coming down.
Oh hell! I don't know what's going on, but I know that. But I know something. None of our ships are. That's not one of our ships.
No.
And we don't. And the Duke didn't mention a thing. Something's happening. I'm gonna run into the palace.
Okay.
And
who are you looking for? Who do you want to talk to?
I think the person that I actually want to talk to is Alin Fathana.
She's the envoy. Yeah.
So if we have any unscheduled guests, she's the one in the hot seat.
She is there. She is moving out towards the field. You see that there are guards throwing on their honor uniforms. There are other things being readied, and she is moving, and she says, "You may talk as we walk, Serafina, if you have questions."
No questions. I don't.
You have many questions. Go on.
Yes. Who is that?
That is the senior. That is the Duke of House Pericos and her entourage. We were informed less than 3 hours ago that she required landing and would be calling upon us. I don't know the exact nature of the situation. There was some claim made of problems with the Guild Highliner and a traversal, but this is most unexpected.
Assuming my superior doesn't require me for this, I'm at your disposal.
Then I wish your eyes and ears with me when this happens. It will be a little bit the land, and there'll be communications back and forth while they give us time to get our security apparatus and such in place. Check in with your compatriots, see what they know and what they can find out, and then return back to me here as I prepare the arrival.
Yes, Your Excellency.
So let's, in the spirit of drama, have that moment when the four of you can cross paths here in the great hall. Serafina and Ismina, Hayden, Stahl, that they're now, where there was kind of a low level like energy, this has become like chaos as people are running every which way to get things. I mean, because this place is not ready to receive guests of this station, and so everybody is doing their desperate best to make things ready. So Ismina, let's start with you calling out, or what are you saying to your friends as you arrive?
I think I'm just like, hey, I got pulled aside by the War Master. You got the debriefing. Did any of you know about this? Is there something that okay, and at the negative shakes his head.
Serafina walks right up to you and throws her arms around you and says, "God, it's good to see you."
Because Mina's got like one hand, like, good to see you. Are you okay? What's happening?
It's been a tricky afternoon for my future prospects with the house, but never mind that. No, nobody knew. We were, at least no one. The Duke didn't know, so I presume nobody else knew.
Great. So I think, yeah, it looks like, she pats you reassuringly on the back, but is like, obviously, like her head is going and is like, as long as this isn't, maybe if we continue to prove our worth to the house, they'll listen to us more sympathetically. Though she's like, the War Masters, well, everyone, the Sword Master is concerned that if something goes wrong with Parakos in our care, then obviously we're all doomed.
We're cooked.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, she would.
Why would Parakos risk coming here in person?
Hayden, is there a way you can conceal yourself and be there when they land to see what's happening?
I can make myself part of the crowd in the welcoming party if you need me there. Yeah, Hayden's got like what you call it, like 3 plates that the envoy gave him, and he doesn't know what to do with the plates, so he's just holding them.
I'm going to second myself to the envoy, unless Thursallo needs me, which I doubt.
Okay,
but
that sounds great.
the envoy, I almost went into the envoy service, though it would have disappointed. But I didn't want to disappoint my mother.
Well, you're basically single-handedly set up a system of order in Saknagan, so it would have been a loss for justice, certainly.
Couldn't have done anything without you. Uh, um, but yes, my setting up order may have, as I said, may have cost me my my position. But the Duke hasn't said that exactly, so I'm still hopeful. Whereas I understand you got a commendation.
I got, perhaps I'm helping choose some of our troops.
Really?
That, yeah. I think we're gonna look at the sea dragons. I just recommended that we need people who can blend into the shadows, like and she just kind of like gesticulates at us, like, like we were having to skulk around so much.
Stahl, are you going to tell the? I mean, Hayden knows about. I mean, you're still kind of smarting from the attack upon your person.
Yes.
Maybe while they're talking, instead of trying to get a word in edgewise, I just throw it on the table.
Stahl tosses a broken hunter killer spider bot onto the table. The little package he has in it is sort of spotted green with the poison.
Only Marduk conditioning prevents me from jumping. So I look at it, my flick back and forth. It's
not really something I would assume you ran across in your books when talking to the theologians, Stahl.
No, I was pursuing very carefully and aptly a Imperial agent of change when it came after me, and just a trick of the light was what saved my life.
The Imperial agent, you mean the Imperial agent of chains, Malaria?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Where were they going? Did you know before this happened?
I was set upon before I was able to figure that out. But they definitely don't like our philosophy.
No, but the Imperials wouldn't do this. I mean, if you were transgressing, they would have simply invoked the law on you.
It definitely seems like something strange is going on.
This is Zerat until proven otherwise.
It's not a bad suspicion. I'm gonna be officially with the landing party, but Hayden, I'll feel better if I know that like you're out there with your eyes elsewhere where I can't have mine. And Seraphina, if you are gonna be the trustworthy ears to hear the official talk, I know that you can hear what people are really saying when they say things. And Stahl, don't get killed. Also, if you could also not die, that would be excellent. Maybe you can
we have someone
interest Parakos in what we're doing with this project. And
we're failing that. Yeah, we're failing that. We have someone in the dungeon who could benefit from your ministrations.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to the hunter drone or like that, and I'm gonna pull the control chip out of that, and I'm gonna say, "Take a look at this later," and I put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
But,
so
I'll definitely be in the crowd watching.
So it tells Stahl what went on with the Zerat agents and Ismina as well.
So let's break down and let's see what people are going to do. We had a little conference there. Stahl, you've at least gotten some respect now from this, and you dodged a hunter killer.
Yeah.
So
people seem to be downplaying I'm obviously pretty good.
So what do you want to do?
I've got two minds.
Sure.
I have an idea where I could be engineering the the place settings where everyone is going to be sitting in a way that both subtly maybe positions the Imperial person in a way that they couldn't easily attack one of our house members, and also maybe just like try to sort of like arrange it so that I can see the dynamics of everybody that's communicating in order to try to like ascertain the allegiances that are going
So
on.
it feels to me like what you're trying to do is create some traits on like the meeting space in here. Does that seem right?
That seems right, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is going to be appropriate for you doing this social engineering?
Cultural studies.
Cultural studies works.
Understand.
Yeah.
And what is power? Self-serving actions. No. Maybe truth. Trying to figure out.
Yeah, I like that. This is coming out of a certain amount of curiosity here. So that's 2d20. You need 13s or less. 6s or less are 2 successes.
1 and a 17.
Okay, so that's 2 successes. So what is the trait that you want to establish on the meeting place that you can use, like when people get in there to read the situation or assess things or maneuver people around?
Something like out of their element.
So you're putting
fish out of water trait.
Fish out of water. So just a little bit of they can't quite find their footing.
Yeah, everything's off balance. Maybe they'll, be able to ascertain more things than we otherwise would be able to. Absolutely. I bet the person who suggested I put placements for plates didn't see this coming.
And so, yeah, you were in there getting that all well situated. Ismina, what are you doing? You've got a little bit of time before, the ship has landed, but they're getting things together before like that comes down and people start arriving.
I think that I'm wondering if there's something that I can do either in surveillance or prepping what we do that I could use kind of like my discipline to sort of like set up sort of like our defenses, like either arranging who's there, how like getting the route from the landing pad through to the house, so they're only talking to, like, I know everybody along the route, and like it's the shortest way possible, and I can either secure the passageway to this, like to the dining room, or
absolutely,
like, yeah.
Let's have you do that. That will kind of set a base difficulty for anybody who might be looking at nefarious actions here.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And that would be, I think, with duty. Let's see. Would this count as battle if it's like seeking to avoid danger or defensive?
Yeah, I think you're setting this up as particularly you're establishing a defensive stance for the house.
Okay. So duty and battle. So I'm looking at is
15s and 7 or less is our 2 successes.
Okay, so that's 2d20.
2d20.
Okay.
So that is
one
going to be 1 success.
Can I re-roll that 1d20 because I'm using duty to attempt a battle test?
Yeah. Spend your determination, and you can re-roll. You can re-roll both of them if you wanted.
That's actually in my the reason I fight is one of my talents.
Oh, that's right.
So I get, it's just 1 with that. So hey, and that's 1 higher. So okay.
Now would you like to spend your determination?
It's almost the end of the session. You might as well.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing bad
On the
could
on the
happen
meta,
after
that's probably the smart choice. So
True, but you know,
You didn't see me spend both of my determination
yeah,
in the
it
very
was
first action.
it was delicious. It was so tasty.
A comet streaks by and it tells you use the determination.
okay, I will do it, and I will re-roll both.
Ooh.
And
That
Yay.
says 3 successes.
okay.
So I think what we kind of see on screen is you getting those lines set up and so on. And I think we see that guy who was caught and released, the Zerat guy, like whatever they were planning has been disrupted. The other guy is locked up. There's probably more Zerat agents around, but between Hayden and Seraphina's kind of breaking of their ops team, and then you assembling this, they can't even get close to do anything. And so at least for this reception time, for the landing and arrival, you have that area secured.
Okay. So would Ismina have seen them while she was doing this? Maybe like
Them
or would I need
being
like
no,
I
I
seen
think
other Zerat people?
I don't think you see the Zerat people, but I think we know on camera that
Okay.
what effect this has had. You know,
Okay.
we cut away to some of them talking like, and they're like, we can't even get close. You know, and so
Okay.
we definitely see that kind of thing. Hayden, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm going to follow Ismina's instructions, and I'm going to be milling around in the crowd is close to. Actually, I mean, I'll even leave the grounds and mingle with the local crowd so that we can I can follow the Paracos party from as close to landing as to all the way to the palace. Is that possible?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we see you blending in with that crowd. I think we see the ducal procession come out. We see the Duke and the heir. We see the sword master. We see the envoy. We see Seraphina. We see the guards, Imperial guards coming. And we see, we get that big, the camera now pulls away so everybody's tiny little figures, so we can see the scale of the ship and so on. And I think we see all of this coming in as the gangway that lowers down, and we can see these people start to march out. The House Paracos colors of yellow and purple, and we see the Duke. We see there are a couple of people with the Duke. One of them that's clearly by the Duke's side has the stained lips of a mentat. And I think we see that thing where that procession is coming down, the ducal procession is coming forward, and I think that is where we are stopping for tonight. We will take up next time with Hayden in the crowd, Seraphina with the reception, Stahl having done home ec social engineering, and Ismina kind of observing and making sure nothing goes wrong. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Would you mind doing a quick stars and wishes? Let's start with Seraphina.
Stars. The the ducal reception and was great. Hayden's dealing with his being unsure of being fit was great. I loved Stahl playing the spy and almost getting murdered. Not that I wanted him to get murdered, with the emphasis on the almost part. And it just, it had a great feel, and, a good feel of a great sort of complication coming in from left field that nobody could have interpreted, and that we have to all think on our feet, which I think is the best. And the wishes, no, you pretty much did it.
Okay.
The complication coming in from nowhere that we have to deal with on the hop is exactly what I was looking forward to.
Awesome. Harry?
Can I give a past game star? Because I rewatched last game and I missed giving a star out to Danielle playing Ismina and basically winning the fight for us. Because without her setting up the guy, I don't think I was going to take him, and I completely missed that. Apologies. But Serafina was great role playing. I love the interaction. Hope to get better at it. And Stahl, yeah, you doing the spy crawl was awesome. I really like that.
Anything wishes time for next time?
I think we're pretty set up. I think the Pericos coming in is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what this interaction is going to be like. I don't know. I guess we'll be doing some subterfuge while the big guys talk it out. I don't know.
Which is subterfuge.
Yeah.
Subterfuge, counter subterfuge.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Awesome. Fraser?
Yeah, I really liked the report card scene, basically. That was really fun. And I really liked the interaction between Serafina and Hayden, with Hayden making sure to show that he was like a wreck after the father stuff, and then even, not reporting to the meeting and then having the repercussions from that and stuff. I thought that was all great. And I really liked that I got to explain my religion lab a lot. It was all very good. And yeah, I think it'll be really fun to see what everybody ends up doing next session with the Duke action happening. I still kind of want it to be a enemies to lover trope, but
we'll see. You put that fish out of water aspect on there.
Oh, struck by love.
And Danielle, I know you came in a little bit late,
Great
but anything
session,
you want to
guys.
throw?
I just loved every minute. No, as stars to everybody for being such a good sport. I was visiting a friend in the hospital, and things kind of got all anyway, we had to stay longer, but thank you for letting me hop in, and like it was so action packed. Even the bit I was here, my kind of wish for next week is like, I just hope that I get to like dramatically insert myself between an assassin and somebody important. I was super looking forward to like the coming back, quote unquote, home after all of the time we've done. So I think I'm just looking forward to kind of getting to dig into all of this drama that's happened while we've been away. But I loved the getting to create the sea dragons, and I'm very much looking forward to watching the session to get this Hayden's like aftermath and like Stahl always like being a theologian, but always being like, I'm gonna be a spy, I'm gonna go take these people out. I'm gonna go talk to the Bene Gesserit instead of any of the people over here because they're cool. And I love the idea that Serafina like got in trouble for quote unquote overstepping, even when we were like thrown into the Wild West, like make something happen, and then like Serafina does. So I love the idea that there is tension with what we've accomplished, even though we did a good job. So star to setting that up. So I'm excited, and I will be here next week. So.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording.